Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
I've got to take the straw out because I just can't do it. I don't know if, and I guess we'll start the show with this. How are you, everybody? This is the Believe You Me podcast. When I'm at the gym, Anthony,
behind the scenes.
It's behind the scenes, but we're rolling. I can't do it through the straw. Just take a sip, Anthony.
Through my wife's fancy Stanley.
Yeah, I just feel weird. I don't know what it is.
There's nothing manly about that. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I'm in a bar, which I used to be, I don't frequent them these days. You order a cocktail, they always give you a straw in it. I will not drink my cocktail through a straw. Where do you stand on this debate, Anthony?
Yeah, I noticed that when we were in Vegas, we were getting those Moscow mules, and I was using the straw, and I was like, well, I look like a fucking douchebag over here because Mike's over here just taking it like a man.
I never noticed it. There was definitely no judgment. I wasn't looking at you going, wow, I am reevaluating my stance on Anthony Smith. I can't believe he's drinking a Moscow mule through a straw. Well, just remove that, Anthony, please. We'll just forget that bit never happened. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you are all well. How you doing, Anthony? You had some rest?
Yeah, I finally got some rest. Man, there's a funky sickness going around with all these kids, like in their school. It's like half the school's out with like some 24-hour stomach bug. Oof. So I had to go pick up one of my kids from school today. She just got a headache, and she just, you can tell when they just don't feel good. They're just acting kind of weird, So yeah, she's upstairs watching TV, hanging out, probably playing hooky. But
yeah,
other than that, man, things are good. We're back at it. I'm back in training. So we're
nice. Back in training already. See, what a guy. What a guy. It's funny. We'll get back to that in a second. When you say that with the kids, like Lucas is an expert of coming in the morning and going, I've got a headache. I've got a headache. And Rebecca is so soft. She's like, I'm like, no, he's going to school. Do you not understand what he's doing right now? Do you know what I mean? So maybe your kids are just full of it.
Yeah, they might be. They might be. Hey, I got a question since we're on the kids topic. I think sometimes people don't mind listening to us talk about regular shit. Did you ever have any problems with your kids with like bullies or people being mean or bullying them because of who you are?
Do you know what? To be honest, I was very lucky with that. I don't think in general they were ever bullied. And that's not because, they're so tough or nothing. Like Callum now is a big, strong man. Mm-hmm. But he was, oh, no, sorry. No. What am I saying? At primary school, elementary. Yeah. He used to get bullied a lot then, actually, because he's very mild-mannered. He still is to this day, You won't want to get on the wrong side of him because, as I say, he's a beast these days. But he's so mild-mannered and calm, like his mother. And I think a lot of people see that as weakness. And all these kids, they would, and they were spitting on him, and they were rubbing crap in his hair, and there were all kinds of stuff going on. And Rebecca went in one day to speak to the teacher, and the teacher said, well, Callum needs to toughen up. And Rebecca never gets mad. Right, she's very, as I say, that's where Callum gets it from. And she said, excuse me, my son does not need to toughen up because those kids are just being bullies. Excuse me. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But why do you ask, Anthony?
Oh, just going. I don't want to say bullied. I don't know if bullied is she's having some issues. Like my oldest, my fifth grade, I think is tough, especially for girls. They're getting into this age where they're all starting to go through puberty. There's all the hormones. They're starting to click up a little bit. And she just it was just popped in my head because we've had a couple meetings at the school that she's having an issue with like one girl who's just, listen, my 11-year-old is 5'9". She's a big kid. She's 5'9", probably weighs 120 pounds. She wears a size 11 in women's shoe. She's a grown ass woman.
It's not a competition, but Lucas is 12 and he's 5'10" and wears a 12,
See, well, they're big kids. So this other girl's really little, and she's just an asshole to my kids. So I was just thinking about that. I feel like I've been up at the school a bunch, so I had to go pick up the 5-year-old, and then dealing with the other shit is just
Has she been coming home kind of upset and down?
Very, very. It's just weighing. She's a lot like Callum. Like, she's very quiet, very polite, very mild mannered. Not a whole lot bothers her. So, at first I think I was kind of an asshole about it. She was complaining about it. And then I go off like, well, there's all these kids. They don't got fucking friends, and they don't got, there's kids that are sent home with meals because they don't have food at home. And like, you guys are complaining about where to sit at lunch. Like, this is stupid. But it turned out to be a whole lot more serious than that. And so I don't know. I just popped in my head. So I was thinking about it.
No, absolutely. And it's so important to keep on top of that stuff because like for us, we kind of push it to one side and think, it's just kid stuff. But inside their young and with respect, immature minds, it can be. And sadly, people bloody commit suicide over this stuff. It's
at
awful.
that age. At that age.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Well, it feels to them like the world is crashing down on them. And
exactly.
To me, I kind of push it off like it's not that big of a deal. Stop worrying about it. Like just ignore her, stay away from her. It's whatever, But then the little shit started bothering me. Like the same girl, they're telling secrets over here like little girls, and then one of the other girls, Araya, says, "Well, what is she talking about?" And she said, "Oh, she just said that you're a spoiled brat and your dad's rich." I was like, that's coming from parents. That's not coming.
For sure.
That's coming from parents, or like she's a spoiled brat, and you're spoiled. She said she was a spoiled brat because her dad's rich and famous. Like that's not coming from kids.
That is not coming from her. It's coming from the father, and because it's coming from the father, you could do the old classic one. You know what the classic one is, don't you? You go around, you see the fucking dad. You have a little word in his ear. Say, yeah. I am rich and famous. And you know why I'm rich and famous? For kicking people's asses in the octagon. And if you don't have a word with your daughter, you're going to find yourself.
Well, he's got some stupid fucking band too, apparently. And like a couple of the teachers were like wearing one of my fight shirts.
Name it in the band. We know the power of the believers.
Oh, we can't do that.
I know.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. But we keep this shit keeps up though. Shit keeps up. We're gonna sick the believers on some motherfuckers.
Right, here's what we're gonna do. Here's another trick that's never gonna happen. We're all gonna jump on a plane. We're gonna go to the gig the next time they're performing, and we are gonna just trash the bar. We're gonna smash the guitars over the head.
Yeah, fucking crazy. Parenting is hard, Mike. Parenting is hard.
It is. Do you know? To be honest, we've been really lucky. There was something that happened last week. Did we talk about this? My son's wrestling friend.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's awful. It's so awful. But I do want to mention it because I feel like, and this sounds like a stupid statement. So Callum's on a wrestling team at San Francisco State. Mm-hmm. And one of his teammates, Hamza, oh God, I feel so bad. His last name's escaping me at the minute, but Hamza, his friend, who's Callum's best friend. And I know in the comments, must be some friend. I've never met the kid. They all went to the ocean to do a cold plunge. Went in the ocean. They were going to do a cold plunge and then run up this huge hill and do hill sprints. They went in the ocean. It was freezing cold, more than what they expected. So they all come running out. Young Hamza, 22 years old, beautiful kid, was coming out, went underneath because the water was so rough, popped back up a second, then a huge wave came, swept him away. Never been seen since.
No
the helicopters searched for 2 days and called off the search eventually. Yeah.
Oh my God, Mike, that's fucking terrible.
And then, like, I mean, I'm on the verge of crying right now because it's so sad. And this is kind of why I wanted to talk about it. Because when you're 21, 22 years old, you think you're indestructible, don't you? You know, but look at that. So please, I know it sounds obvious. Don't mess around with the ocean, but you think you can because you're 22 years old, big guy, wrestler, strong. You know what I mean?
And not fucking off doing something stupid. Like this is a productive training thing. Like they're taking care of themselves.
They're being great young men. There was no coaches there. They just did it by themselves, got swept away. And then the sad thing is, and this is, I mean, it's just not being reported on, obviously so. But for the parents, I can only imagine what they're going through. Callum's beside himself. Rebecca's crying herself to sleep every night. We never even met the kid. Can you imagine what he lived with his girlfriend? The parents just must, and it's just not being mentioned, So we want to try and do something to bring some awareness to it, start a foundation, do something to help. But
and the crazy thing is, I'm sure as a parent, you're going, I mean, that's so easily could have been your own.
Yes.
Like,
Well, actually, Callum wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
And again,
Well, that's
fortunately,
good.
because he never had to experience it. But you know what people are like, and we'll move off because it's very depressing. And the tone of this podcast is not that. We like to have fun, but we do like to have real discussions sometimes. But you know, there's always arsehole trolls online. Callum actually got interviewed by the local news. And they did a piece, and because Callum was down there at the ocean, as soon as he heard, they all went down and they were looking, staying vigilant. He was at like a candlelight vigil a couple of nights ago. So sad. And he did an interview with the local news talking about him, and everyone in the comments, because Callum's had a look at it online, because you do that when you're not used to being on TV and stuff. They're like, oh, look at him. He kind of smirked when he said that word. Wouldn't surprise me if he had something to do with it. I said, Callum, it's just idiots online. Please don't.
Idiots.
It's just idiots. But, you know, he's upset about it.
To him and anybody else, don't read the fucking comments. Don't read the comments.
It's hard, though, because I see those mother effers in our comments. They love you. They hate me. They love you.
Dude, go search some comments these days after my fatscapade.
The fatscapade.
Yeah.
With Anthony Smith.
I took a quick look and I was like, oh, yeah, that's why I don't read the comments.
Yeah. Well, generally, you're very popular, Anthony. Regardless, I cannot do anything right. But still, speaking of a man that can't seem to do anything right these days, I guess we've got to get into this. And it's, you know what, it's very scandalous, and it's a big story. So obviously we'll talk about it. Conor McGregor, I'm sure you saw the news. Harrington, I'll let you read out the statement, because I'd rather you say it, because I don't like to try and jump on. And I'll be honest, as of right now, I don't have much judgment about it, because you never know. You never know. But Harrington, how are you? Welcome to the show, my friend. And
I'm doing excellent.
Still got the Instagram filter, I see.
What do you mean?
Well, look, the look of you, Anthony. Yeah. What would you say? Is that a Clarendon?
I would say that he doesn't look that good ever, unless he's on here.
He's got the Clarendon filter, or maybe it's a little Amaro, something like that. But you're definitely looking like you
got some amber light in your face for sure.
I got a
lighting out.
It's
anyway. Go on. Give us the story, Harrison. We're only teasing. You do look filtered.
So a woman from Dublin claims that she was in Ibiza and she ran into Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor recognized her from like the neighborhood of Dublin. He invited her onto his yacht, and her statement is this: his whole behavior changed and he became very aggressive. Without further provocation, according to this account, he kicked her with the instep just below her navel and punched her in the chin. The first blow caused her to fall to the ground and hurt her wrist. Then he jumped on her and said, "I'm going to drown you. Who do you think you are?" So apparently after this, out of fear, she jumped off of the boat and into the Mediterranean, and she had to be rescued by authorities.
Yeah, and then apparently at the time she declined. This is in the story. I'm just elaborating on what Harrington missed there. She didn't initially press charges, but when she got back to Ireland, she decided to pursue charges then. Anthony, I've spoken a lot. I'll let you have the first take.
Yeah, so I try to tiptoe really, really carefully around some of this stuff until it's,
until someone's charged.
Until he's charged or convicted or whatever. Because who knows? Like when you're, and this isn't me sticking up for Conor. This isn't me saying he did or didn't do it. I'm saying when you're a powerful person, when you're super, super rich, and you're in a position of fame like Conor is, people will say anything to either get money or get clout or whatever. And again, I'm not saying that that's what this girl is doing, but it's not fair to just believe everybody like forthright every single time. Like you got to kind of let it play out.
To every story.
There's two sides. So I'm not gonna. We all know how well Conor and I get along, but I'm also not in a position to just crucify him for something that we don't actually know is true or not. So, but the allegations are fucking horrible. I mean, the allegations are terrible. That's terrible. And if that is something that happened to her, I feel for her. I'm very, very sorry, and that sucks. But just got to let it play out and see what happens. Of course, Conor denied it. I did see that his management team or someone came out and said that was totally untrue. So I hope, just in general, I hope that it's not true, because that would be a terrible thing for someone like Conor to do.
Yeah, as you say, you worded it well. The allegations are terrible. So if we are to believe, and again, if we are to believe that he did that, then the man's an out scumbag. Simple as that, right? I mean, that's just awful behavior. We don't need to go through it, right? It doesn't take a scientist to work out that is. And if he did, then I hope he gets what's coming to him. But it is an allegation. And you are absolutely right. Conor has such an astronomical level of fame. It's insane. And of course, with the fame comes a ridiculous amount of money as well. And people want that. And I'm not saying, because I saw somebody talking about it on YouTube. I was led on the couch yesterday listening to it. It was True Geordie. I don't know if you know who he is. He was talking about it. And he was saying the same thing. And I think most level-headed people have to look at it from this perspective. Now, of course, there's no smoke without fire. The reality is there's been quite a bit of fire lately. You know what I mean? You know, that doesn't tip well in his favor. And I was listening to True Geordie, and he was saying a similar thing. And I said the similar thing because I reported it on my YouTube channel. You know, we have to let the investigation play its course. Let the police look into it and see what happened. She did jump off a yacht. She was rescued by the Coast Guard. So that is, you know, I mean, there's already a little bit of credibility to what she said, but who knows, maybe she's just a mentalist and that was all part of her plan. But Rebecca overheard it, and she said that's disgusting. What me and you are doing now, what the True Geordie did. She said, how do you think that makes her feel? I'm like, well, yeah, I understand that if it's true, but we don't know that it's true just yet. You know, I've had people come after me. I've spoke about it. This little prick got in my face, made all kinds of threats in the gym, and I lost my temper and I grabbed him by the neck. I just grabbed him. He was screwing his face up and saying, you better watch your back. I know where you live and all this crap. And in the end, I just grabbed him by the throat. I shouldn't have done it. As soon as I did that, he made up, help, he's trying to choke me out. And then he sued me, right? He sued me, UFC, William Morris Endeavor, he sued 24-Hour Fitness, all of them for $1 million each, saying he can't sleep at night. And all there's people like that. There is people like that. And famous people have it. Fighters have it. Conor's had it before. You know, now granted, he's done things that make stuff like this kind of believable, though. Well, yeah, I don't mean this level, but like the old guy in the bar and stuff.
Right. He loses a little bit of he loses the benefit of the doubt in a lot of situations. Now, if a story came out and said Conor was drunk and punched some random guy, I'd be like, yeah, fuck him. Like, that's probably 100%. Him. That's probably him. But
Francisco Fascinetti, the DJ in Italia. Did you see this, Anthony?
I didn't.
You did not see this. It was a big story last year. He was at the party, and same kind of thing. They were all together. They went back to an after party. This is according to Francisco Fascinetti and the Italian news and the media. And then at some point, yes, it was a big story, Anthony, last year.
I missed it.
Yeah. And then he just flipped on this DJ. He's like a TV celebrity, and he's a very famous DJ apparently in Italy. Yeah, he just fucking flipped on him and just flipped out. Just batted. They were getting along apparently, and according to Francisco Fascinetti, he just flipped and smashed his head in. Which I'm not laughing at. I'm just like, so, you know. And then
it's possible. If it comes out to be possible, if it comes out to be true, I'll come right back on here with you and we'll fucking bury him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. 100%. So, yeah, it's all speculation and it's all accusation and it's all alleged right now. So, I guess we'll see how that one plays out. But
hey, Mike, before we get to the next topic, do you have earbuds? I'm getting talk back.
I don't have the headphones in. Is this a big problem, Brian? Please say no.
It's not a huge problem if we clear it up now.
No, you don't even have to edit this bit out. No. Anthony shows up all professional with his headphones on.
Got the headphone, got the fucking microphone.
Like a real professional. I mean, I've only done this for God knows how long. The bits and bobs. So from one Conor McGregor story to another one, you see that he came out and apparently he's been offered a coaching role on The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I did see that. It was like a Instagram post or something, right?
Apparently so. Harrington, what level of, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? What level of
validity
does this story have?
You're so smart.
He's so smart.
Yeah, dude, I got Google on my back.
Okay.
So what he said was he posted a picture of himself looking like all sucked out and when he was fighting at featherweight. And he said, this was me like right before I walked into the Tough House. I had like just beaten Chad Mendez for the interim title, et cetera, et cetera. And he essentially just talked about how the immersion of the Ultimate Fighter house is something that he would welcome, right? Like if you're serious about getting into martial arts, there's nothing more immersive in the mixed martial arts game than the Ultimate Fighter house. So he did welcome that kind of structure as he's, getting towards his comeback tour.
So potentially be coaching the Ultimate Fighter again. I think that would be massive for the Ultimate Fighter. It's kind of what it needs, to really give it that injection, get the eyeballs on it. I think it would be good for Conor as well because he's been away from the sport for a while. Obviously, he's ballooned up majorly. In a perfect world, Anthony, who would be the opposite coach? Anthony, Harrington and Brian, I'll throw the question to you boys as well for an inclusive podcast.
I'd love to see Michael Chandler. I'd like to see Michael Chandler. I don't know how is the Fighter House inclusive for sure, but is it for Conor? Like he's not staying in the house.
Oh no! You don't stay in the house. I coached it twice. You have Conor will be staying in a McMansion.
Right.
You have a nice little apartment there. You live in Vegas for 2 months. You can have
7-8 weeks in Vegas sounds like
I came out
not a great idea. It sounds like not a great idea. I came
back 20 pounds heavier and my liver screaming for a break.
Oh, I'm sure. But, I don't know how great that is for Conor, but
yeah. If he didn't punch that lady, there might be another story coming out in Vegas. But I thought Michael Chandler, Jorge Masvidal, that'd be
a great one for reality TV. Masvidal is perfect.
Masvidal's the one. I mean, obviously he's got that situation with Colby.
Yeah, he's got his own situation
still ongoing, but if they could do that, that'd be massive because number one, Masvidal doesn't take no crap. You know what I mean? He's got in my face many times. We've come this close to like getting into blows a few times because he's come at me. We're good now, but you got to respect that about him. He's about that life, so to speak, and so is McGregor, if you will. So them two, that'd be fireworks. I don't think McGregor's going to fight 155 anytime soon. So a fight with Masvidal at 170, both strikers in terms of a matchup that Conor could win, be tough for him though. That ticks all the boxes.
That's a great fight. It's a fantastic fight at the end. I think Masvidal's just built for reality TV because he is so real. And Conor's so quick on his feet, and Masvidal's kind of got that that gangster mentality where no one's gonna fuck with him. I think it'd be good TV. I actually like that better than the Michael Chandler one. Yeah,
no, me too. I don't know if they could afford. I mean, listen, the UFC can afford Conor, of course they can, but for him to give up as long as it takes to go to Vegas. He'd want something like bloody $3, $4, $5 million, I would assume. I'm not sure if he would get that. I don't know, but still, it's not our business. Harrington and Brian, any thoughts on who the other coach could be?
I mean, dude, Jorge Masvidal is the one that makes all the sense in the world. I just cannot think of. Yeah. I mean, Colby Covington, maybe. Colby Covington might be kind of fun.
Ooh.
I don't know.
But he doesn't want to fight Colby Covington, though. He's just going to get out wrestled, taken down, mounted, dry humped, and beat to a pulp. Anyway, that's enough Conor talk for now.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to think. I mean, he went against Uriah and didn't end up fighting him. So who else? Like John Jones?
Are you listening to the founder of this podcast? I said that is enough Conor McGregor talk, Harrington.
My bad.
Get it
together. As we know, and I'm yet to see the video, I'm talking about these kids getting punched in the stomach with a tire, Brian. So if you want to cue that one up. There's always...
I've seen this.
I haven't seen it yet. I saw it online.
I'm so glad we're going to talk about this.
Yeah. So let's play the video because apparently I was going to throw it up and tee it up to you with a question, but I haven't even seen it yet. So yeah, apparently there's a bit of a backlash. Some coach smacking kids in the stomach. Anthony, I'll let you talk while Brian tees it up because I haven't actually seen it.
Well, I've just seen the clip of it, but it looks like he's got all these kids, and I remember looking at it and thinking how young they all were. Like if he's got adults and they're going to lay there and take it, fuck them, let them do it. But I believe it was a bunch of pretty young kids, and he's got a tire, and it's like like you see back in the day, the older days, we'd stand there and you put your hands up here and you take some body shots like body work. Yep. I don't even know if that shit actually works, but it was like a toughen you up type of drill. And he's got this big tire and he's just smacking these kids like in the stomach with this tire. And it's like pretty hard too. And they're little kids. They're not 5-year-olds, but they're not all of them are teenagers, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. And what you're trying to do is make them enjoy it and give them a reason to come back when you're that age. You want them to fall in love with martial arts and it'd be a positive community building experience, not beat the crap out of them and they literally have nightmares and never want to go back.
You see that shit in other countries.
Here we go. We need sound, Brian. We need sound.
Yeah, see, there's a couple older ones there, but like that kid's young.
Boom.
Like,
that got him in the balls.
Like the balls. Like that kid's young. He didn't want that. Look at him.
Do you know what? Now I see it. I don't know if it's that bad.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that bad though, because you know what? A lot of them were smiling, and like teenage boys.
Yeah,
they enjoy that stuff, don't they? They get a kick out of it.
But I think that's what leads into this other shit that you see. Like you've seen some of this other stuff that's come out of these other countries where coaches are just. He's got one glove on and he's just beating the shit out of them, or he's got two and he's like doing chin strengthening exercise. Like what fucking year is it? You know what I mean?
I keep seeing a lot of videos online of people. It's always in like some crazy spin-off country of Russia or something, or maybe somewhere like in China or Mongolia or somewhere, and there's a dude there and they're just going with gloves on really hot, and then they go to the next person. It's like, what are you doing? You're just giving them brain damage. You are not conditioning
2023. There's enough goddamn medical research now to understand what that's doing.
We are not conditioned. That is not how you condition a jaw. You cannot condition a jaw. So I don't know what you're trying to achieve. What's like one of the best drills you've ever done in anything like that, Anthony, throughout your career?
Like for like toughness or just?
I don't know. You just like conditioning or anything like that. Is there something that you've done that always stuck out?
Yeah, it sucks. My jiu-jitsu coach has always made me. We've talked about this before. Training with fresh guys every round or every minute or whatever. This is why I hate training camps. I love training, Mike. I love everything about martial arts. I love jiu-jitsu. I love the striking practices. I even love drilling hard. What I hate is always being in a bad position and getting the shit kicked out of me for 8 weeks. That's I'm never put in. I'm so excited to fight, not because I give a shit about beating up that other guy. I'm excited to start in a neutral position. That's what I'm excited about. Like to actually have an opportunity to win, because they'll put a jiu-jitsu black belt on my back. It's all I can do to escape. And as soon as I'm out, they bring in a fresh one and put them right back in the same spot. And then it's 8 weeks of that in different positions. And so those kind of training sessions, I'm so fuck.
And I hate those ones as well, because we all have egos and our ability as fighters.
I lose for 8 weeks.
Yeah, you lose, and it pisses you off. And those guys, they're like, I tapped him out. Yeah, I tapped him out.
They go home to their girlfriends. They're like, oh, I beat the shit out of Anthony today.
Got him 3 times
you
today.
and 10 other black belts.
Bro, you started in the most advantageous position. Hooks in, back taken, seatbelt grip. Choke me out. Do you know what I mean? There's a good chance you were going to get me, you prick. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Right. Or they'll do shit like when we're sparring. Well, you'll go into like a full MMA sparring round, but you can't use all your right weapons or something. So it's like jabs and like
you're handicapped.
You're handicapped the whole time. So like I just spend the entire training camp losing to everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. There's blue belts. Well, they'll make sure that I'm in a position that I can't win. And
let's try and fix that. Going forward, let's have you winning in the training sessions.
I mean, I'm trying, but every time I win, then it's like they're like, no,
they make it harder.
They make it harder.
Now, both hands behind your back. We're covering up the other eye. All right,
we're starting in full extended arm bars.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Okay, I guess so.
Oh, I hate those drills. All right, let's talk about Shopify really quick. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. So listen, if you have a business, you're an entrepreneur, you're selling something, whatever it is, you've got to have a presence online. This is 2023. You got to be online. Now, you might think it's time consuming, costly, complicated, and often it can be, but not with Shopify. It makes it so easy and so affordable. Wait until you hear this offer. But they give you customer support every step of the way, 24/7 customer support, integrations with their social media apps and marketplaces like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. It has you covered from in-person POS systems to an all-in-one e-commerce platform, okay? So literally it has everything that you need. So now it's time to get serious about your business, get online and start making some real money and just add some credibility to your business. As I say, it's so easy. It really is easy. All you got to do is sign up. Listen to this. $1 per month trial period at Shopify.com. Okay. I mean, that is just $1. $1. As I said, there's 24/7 customer service available, an extensive business course library. So if you want to learn and get better, they've got it all covered for you there. And Shopify is there to support your success every single step of the way. As I said, Shopify covers every sales channel. Right. I said this before, but from an in-person POS system to the e-commerce platforms, it lets you sell across social media marketplaces like the Instagram and stuff, as I mentioned. So it literally offers everything. It's simple. It's easy. And with this incredible offer, $1 per month when you sign up, shopify.com/believe, all lowercase, shopify.com/believe to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/believe. If you're selling something and you're not online, then you're not with it. You're not being active. You're not being the best version of your business that you can be. If you call yourself an entrepreneur, but you don't have an online presence, then you're not an entrepreneur. You're a fool. Get online, do it easily with shopify.com/believe. Let's have a look what's going on in the news. Well, Johnny Walker, curious to what you think about this because he's your division. I'm sure you've seen him fight many times. He was successful at the weekend. He's now out there. And Harrington, if you can bring up the actual quote from him, he's back. He found his mojo. Confidence is sky high. And he's got his eyes on becoming a 2-weight division champion. Wondered what you thought of that, Anthony. And Harrington, have you got the exact quote before? Is Harrington there? Is he alive?
He left.
I think he's gone.
I'm here. I'm just frantically Googling. So he said
25-second leading. Just Google while you're here so I don't have to continue to go, Harrington, are you there?
So he said he looks at Daniel Cormier as a source of inspiration. He's champ, 2 belts. Come on. That's my dream as well. This guy did it. I want to be on his level one day. I want to be a good wrestler, improve all my skills because I want to be there. I want to be ready to do what he did.
So a couple things here. I always find myself shitting on Johnny Walker, and I don't always necessarily mean to. I think it just comes off that way. But I think before you start focusing on 2 belts, you got to get one. You got to get one first because this goes for anybody that's listening. If you start making your goals so maybe I don't want to say outlandish because of course it's possible to win 2 belts, but you got to do it in steps. They got to be in succession. So once you should make your goal to get 1 belt, and then once you have 1 belt, then you want to defend it, and then once you defend it, you want to get 2 belts. It's a little bit. It's just they're a little bit out there, right? So you got to. I feel like you want to shorten those down a little bit to make them attainable first. Secondly, here's the problem I've always seen with Johnny Walker. I got a lot of respect for the things that he does well. I got a lot of respect for his athleticism, the power that he carries. We were in the elevator together twice in Brazil, and I cannot believe he's 205 pounds. I don't know how he makes
he's
it.
a big boy.
That's from a fat ass who just missed. Like, I couldn't believe how goddamn big he was. You know, he's just a big dude. And that doesn't, to me personally, doesn't mean a lot. I don't give a shit how big you are. Fighting's fighting. I never really worry too much about sizes, but it is impressive how explosive he is, how mobile he is for his size, how fast he is. He does a lot of things well. But what happens is I've always thought that Johnny needs to work on his mental game, because this is what happens to him. He wins a couple fights. He starts doing well. He starts kind of fighting within himself a little bit. And then he wins a couple fights and he starts talking like this. and his head gets a little bit too big, and he forgets where he is. And you can tell in the way that he walks around and the way he interacts with people. You can almost tell how he feels, because I've seen him interact with people when he's coming off a couple losses. Very humble, very down to earth, very quiet, very respectful, bows to everybody, nods his head at everybody, like keeps to himself and keeps on moving. Then I see him when he's off a couple wins and he's a different guy. So you can't get too up and you can't get too down. If he leveled himself a little bit, you don't hear him talking about the 2 belts things when he's losing. So I'm not saying don't have those aspirations, but like, don't be so up and so down, because you can tell by his personality and where he's at in life, depending on where he is in his career. So I think if he just bring it down just a little bit when you're doing well, bring it up just a little bit when you're doing bad, and just try to stay a little bit level, because then sometimes your head gets big and you get out there a little bit, and that's when you fuck up. You're going to find yourself coming off a couple losses here pretty quick.
That's the hard thing, isn't it, as well? Remaining level-headed throughout any part of life, when you're up or when you're down. You know what I mean? I've said it a million times. Perillo's dad was a motivational speaker, and he has this speech, and I should have remembered this by now, but he said, life is like a circle. He said, you're not always going to be at the top, and you're not always going to be at the bottom. The beauty of that information is that when you're at the top, you know you're not going to stay there, and so you will remain humble. And when you're down at the bottom, that, you know, you can stay positive, because eventually you can claw your way back up to the top, or still have that mindset. So, hey, listen, he just won. Yeah, I like it too. Perillo says it a million times better. I totally butchered it because I don't fully remember it, but it is a good one. It is a good one. Well, listen, all the best to Johnny Walker. Can't wait to find out who's going to fight next. I'm sure they're going to have their hands full, because he's coming into that one probably very confident off the back of that win over Paul Craig. Now, Paul Craig. Give me a Scottish accent and to say hello.
I tried when I was with him, and I can't even begin to do it. I just sound stupid. Like I don't. It's not even an accent. I just sound like I'm special. I just
you're from like another planet. You're like, what is this?
Like he was speaking words. He sounds so much cooler in person, though. We were chit chatting at the hotel. It's like, man, I'd be so much cooler if I could talk like that.
Well, the women love him. The women love him. I mean, he's a big, tall, in shape guy, you know, and he's very masculine. He's got the big, juicy beard.
He's charming too. He's charming too. Like when he talks,
he's a lovely guy, and he's smart as well.
Yeah, even when you're just like in a conversation, you do find yourself like drawn to want to continue to have the conversation with him, because he's just enjoyable to be around. Yeah,
no, he is. He's an awesome guy. Shout out Paul Craig. You know how he keeps that beard so luscious, right?
I remember.
Were you on the show then when we asked him?
Yeah.
It's the pussy juice, man. The pussy juice. I'm assuming he's not a married man. Anyway, we haven't mentioned the champ is here, or the champ is going to be here. Brian, did you send a link to Jamahal Hill?
Not yet. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. Do it right now. That's my fault for not liaising better. I'm just going to look on the Insta. Link will be with you in a minute. This is great podcasting, great organization.
This is great. I'm going to talk to Jamal 2 days in a row.
So 4 p.m. ET time, that works. No, it's not. So we might not get him then. We might not get him because he thinks it's 1 o'clock. Anyway.
Dude, we're right here. We're podcasting on the fly. This is real life. People love it.
We're doing it on the fly. Alex Pereira, this is what Harrington's got at number 7. Alex Pereira threw his hat in the ring for Jamal's first title defense, speaking of the champ, responding to a comment about Hill knocking out Prochazka. The 185-pound champ replied, I heard Prochazka is injured. What about knocking me out? Listen, of course, and what's your take on this? And not necessarily Pereira, but champs, it's like the fashionable thing now. Everybody wants to do it. Everybody wants to go up to the next weight class above and challenge because they've got nothing to lose, and they get to be a part of this huge title fight, and they have a chance at becoming a 2-weight division champion and bypass all the other contenders, right? That's a super fight. It's a great thing to be involved with. But I don't feel, and this is nothing against Pereira, I don't feel he's in a position to be saying things like that when he's just won the belt. I feel you got to be like a Volkanovski. Or what some other, like DC, McGregor never won the belt. Defended the belt a bunch of times, but he was a mega star, to be fair. But generally, I think you've got to go out there and clean out the division before you start talking about that. What do you think?
Well, I feel like I'm forced to have to defend my division right now, as a whole, because
Yes,
on a couple different area, like a couple different ways here. Like, yes, I 100% believe, I agree with you, Mike. Like, you got to do some work in your own division first before you should be allowed to just move up freely. You got to keep that division moving. Like, there's a new champ there. There's been a long time reigning one, and then now there's a new one. So now a lot of these new guys have a fresh coat of paint, so they can start working their way into new matchups. By going up, you kind of hold up your own division a little bit, and that's not necessarily fair to everybody. If you already cleaned it all out and you've already beat everybody that's at the top 5 or top 6, top 7 guys, then I think it's probably okay. Also, we've already seen this. A guy that was beating Pereira going into the round, he did win the round. He won the title. I'm not going to take that away from him. I believe I picked him to win, but he was losing that fight until he won. So, and a guy who he was losing to a guy who's 100% striker, and he got out wrestled several times. So Izzy moved up and tried that and found out that it's not as easy. I think it's easier to do that at the lower weight classes. I think at the bigger weight classes, there's some more issues that you have to deal with. In Israel, who might be one of the most,
it's a 20-pound jump instead of a 10-pound jump,
right? And the power difference is a lot more significant at the higher weights. So Izzy had a tough time with a guy who's not the champion right now. So a guy who had a funky win over Rakic, and I'm not shitting on Blachowicz here because I like this guy, but he had a funky win over Rakic due to injury, and then fought to a draw over Ankalaev. So, like, I don't know. It seems weird to me that Pereira, who can't really wrestle, who's not a great grappler, is going to move up 20 pounds to fight a guy who just proved to the whole world that he can wrestle and he can grapple, and he's got power in his hands because he shut off guys that are bigger than Pereira. So, like,
devil's avocado though. Devil's avocado. If I'm Pereira, Jamal would be one of the perfect ones because, yes, sure, Jamal showed he can stop takedowns, but I don't think we're going to see him blasting doubles. He would stand there more than likely and fight Pereira on the feet. You know what I mean? I think that's probably what we'd see. But the reality is Jamal just won the belt. Pereira just won the belt. You know, if you look at Volkanovski, he defended the belt a number of times, 5, I think. I'm not sure. And they're bringing in, there's an interim title fight on that same card when he fights Islam, you know, and that just goes to show. So, yeah, the divisions have to keep rolling. Listen, fair play to Pereira. Of course, you want to.
I like the fight. Great. I like the fight.
Yeah.
Like, the matchup's fantastic, but it creates, selfishly, it also creates a lot of problems for me. So, like, you hold up 2 divisions for 2 guys who haven't defended yet.
I remember Tyron Woodley when I was the champ, and I worked with Tyron when he was the champ at Fox Studios. We were always working together, and he was always trying to make a fight between me and him at 185. And I'm like, yeah, 100% Tyron. Easy
Bring
money,
your little
bro.
ass up here.
If you want to get your little fat bloody he has got a big ass. You want to get, what is he, lactose intolerant? He would always mention it. Anytime we worked at Fox Studios, he was like, I'm lactose intolerant. I said, yeah, we know. And he's just farting all over the place. If you want to bring your fat farting ass up to 185 and get your face pounded in, let's do it, bro. Shout out Tyron Woodley. In fact, speaking of Tyron Woodley, and I don't know what this means, I'm sure a psychologist could make something of this. I had a wild dream last night. Right, I was in the back streets of this neighborhood where I used to live, where there was a railway crossing, and there was like a little store in these back streets. And I was there, and I was having a fight with Tyron Woodley, and he kept attacking me. So I was like, punch him in the face, and he kept coming after me. Dana White was there. There was a bunch of other people over from the UFC, but I was fighting, and it was so believable. Do you know when you have those dreams that seem so real when you wake? I was there, and I woke up, and I'm like, fucking, I had a crazy mad fight with Tyron Woodley last night in the neighborhood where I grew up.
So I just looked up what that means on the internet.
That was fast, Brian.
That was fast.
I was typing while you were talking. And he goes, when you see yourself fighting in your dream, it could mean that you genuinely wish to vent your rage by picking a fight. Such a dream could also indicate suppressed anger or frustrations. For instance, you may have wanted to express yourself to someone for a very long time. Science.
Wanting to, yeah. I've been talking about working with a therapist for quite some time. You ever think about that stuff, Anthony?
I do, weekly.
Yeah. Oh, you see a therapist?
I see a therapist weekly.
Yeah. No, I want to do that.
It helps a lot. It really
sure it
does. Even on the days, there's a lot of times I'll go and I really am feeling all right. Like I don't really got a lot to talk about. It feels good once I get there, as they start to draw things out of you and just working through regular shit. Life is hard. It's stressful. There's a lot going on. Even if overall your life is pretty good, you still can find some things that are going to help you to talk about. And I hate the stigma where, guys got to be tough and they don't need to talk about it. And that's just not who I've ever been. I was raised by all women, I guess, and I live in a household of all women. So I'm very in check with my emotions. And if I haven't been there in a couple of weeks, I can tell. Like I just need to go get some shit off my chest. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I did anger management for a while. It definitely helped, but then I ended up not going because the guy he was a very, very deeply religious person. He was like a Christian counselor. It's not really my vibe, you know what I mean? But I did it for a while anyway. But yeah, I've definitely got some shit I need to talk about, get the emotions in check. That's my thing, the emotions. You know what I mean? I react out of emotion all the time. Ge've got to stop doing that. Now, can sort these notes out, Harrington, because see how face my red instantly got. Oh my God. Oh, geez, Louise.
You should go have some conversations, Michael.
Rebecca has been trying to get me to see one for years, and I'm going to do it. And you're right, what you said there before about men supposedly we're supposed to be tough. Men, more than anything, need to do that because it's the men that commit. Brian, just look it up. The disparity from men to women. It's the men because men generally, now we're in 2023 and women are strong and independent and we're all fucking equal and we are equal. And I want equal opportunities. I want equal pay and I want the best man or woman for the job at all times. But there's still men carry the burden a lot of the time because there is still traditional setups in life, regardless of whether or not people want to believe that. And the pressure weighs such a heavy toll on men's minds, and they're the ones that are fighting wars, and they're the ones that sadly are passing away. Brian, go on. Sorry, mate.
It says here, men are 3.5 times more likely to game over themselves because YouTube doesn't like the S word. Yeah.
Well, I know one woman. It was my mother-in-law's friend, good friend, and by all accounts. And obviously, I choose my words very carefully and be respectful because he's my mother-in-law's good friend. And she seemed all together. And then they just got a phone call one day. She blew her head off. She was, obviously a farmer because you can't really get guns in the UK.
Right.
She took a shotgun one day and blew her head off. It's wild. So, yeah, if you're having thoughts like that, guys, please, guys or girls, go and speak to somebody. Now we're going to change gears pretty fast. Yeah. We're going to do a major U-turn. We're going to go to the airport. We're going to jump in a plane. We're going to slap down our passport. In fact, there's a movie where a guy goes in, stamps the passport, shoots a glass of whiskey, comes down. What is that movie?
I don't know.
Snatch. Anyway, Paris Fashion Week. Anthony, I know one of your favorite subjects.
Yeah, can't wait. Been waiting.
You know everything about Paris Fashion Week. Harrington put this one in. And to be honest, I did see this doing the rounds on social media. I think Doja Cat was...
I seen she had like them 30,000 rubies or 30,000 crystals all glued to her face.
Can we get some images up, Brian, of this stuff? And Harrington, you put it in the notes as well, including one dress that is meant to be worn upside down. That's not the one. No? Well, go on.
Okay, well, no, there was just a whole bunch of ridiculousness at Paris Fashion Week, including Kylie. I mean,
what is that?
That's the upside down dress.
I mean, yeah, I saw some nonsense. I mean, that would be a nightmare for me. That's a sideways dress. Yeah. That looks like a toilet cistern upside down.
What is happening?
They've run out of ideas. They've just run out of ideas.
That lady was walking next to her dress.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the dress. The dress, it goes off to the side.
Brian, can we bring up that one of Doja Cat, all in red? Right. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and I'm going to choose my words carefully and try and be respectful as I can, but he's mental these days. Kung Lee. Do you follow him on Instagram?
I don't think I do.
Right. Well, he's a former opponent of mine. So, I don't want to, it's not that I'm here to trash him, but he's gone very, yeah, there she is. And Kung Lee posted about that, and he's always talking about demons and exorcists. He's heavily religious, and he's always talking about the end of the world and all this. And he said that woman there, see, look, this is real life proof that demons are walking around us in broad daylight, and we are welcoming them into society. And the end of days is coming. I'm trust anything that happens in the news is on there. It's Satan, it's devil worshippers, it's demonic cults and stuff like that. And I'm like, bro, it's Paris Fashion Week. She's got on a street.
She's just fucking weird.
It's not actually what she looks like. It's an outfit.
She is on record very weird.
Well, Brian, I feel like you have something to add about the satanic cults and stuff like that. You do. I know you do. You've been down that rabbit hole.
I was waiting on it. I was waiting on him to jump in.
Come on, give us the lowdown on the satanic cults.
Well, the last time I brought this up, you shut me down. But there is a video of a bunch of elites, let's say, making mock baby sacrifices in the woods to a giant owl god. So, I mean, once that happens, who fucking knows?
Maybe people are just weird.
I
think people are just weird.
Hold on. You can't come on and just say there's a video of elites in the forest. And what were they doing again?
They were doing a mock baby sacrifice to a wooden owl god effigy in the redwood forest in California.
Well, I would like to see footage of that.
I will pull it up.
I would like to see footage of that. You know, I mean, come on. Right? Anyway, my God, I knew Brian would have a take.
I think people are honestly, Mike. I think people are just fucking weird, and I think celebrities, once you get to a certain amount of money and fame and weirdness, you just push the envelope to see what kind of weird shit you can get away with. Yeah,
exactly.
It's like a bunch of, like, if we were just,
well, I don't know about that,
multi-millionaires. You and I had $500 million. We ran out of stupid shit to do. I could see us just being like, what if we just wore our pants on our heads? What do you think people would say?
There's a movie where
and just do
two young kids, they wear bras on their head and they make a woman. They make a woman in the computer in the bedroom. They wear bras on their head and the woman comes alive and she's really hot. What is that movie?
I don't know.
Brian O'Harrington, I'll throw it to the panel. What is that movie?
Is that Weird Science?
Weird Science. You never seen Weird Science? It's a classic. You won't enjoy it because you're not a teenager, but I loved that as a kid. We got some fight bookings that we can talk about here. Dan Hooker versus Jalen Turner has been added to UFC 285. That's a hell of a matchup. Jalen Turner, I've always, I've been a big cheerleader of him. He's on a tremendous roll right now, 5-0, I believe.
Oh, we're moving on. You guys didn't want to see the mock?
No. Let's see it. Let's
see this shit.
All right, here it is.
Did you spell effigy?
Not this time. No.
I've heard about this one.
Here is a Bohemian shrine, and holy are the pillars of this house.
Holy are the pillars of this house.
Is this Alex Jones?
This is what got Alex Jones famous. Yeah, this is what made him famous. He snuck onto this fucking, like, super secret rich guy ranch in California that people aren't allowed to go to, and filmed a bunch of super rich famous people doing this weird shit, sacrificing babies, lighting owl effigies on fire. This is a real thing.
Well, it definitely looks weird, but so far I fail to see the sacrificing of babies. I see a bunch of weirdos dressed up as nuns or whatever walking down the street thinking they're reincarnated. But you can also see, apparently, on Fox News reporting on this one, when Joe Biden was in the White House, you could see normally there's a ray of light which comes out the top of the White House that goes to God, right? Mm-hmm. Because the president's blessed by God, but it's not been there lately because Joe Biden's there. You know what I mean?
I think that's a Facebook thing you read. I don't remember there being a spotlight on top of the White House.
I read it somewhere, buddy. I read it somewhere. There's nutters on either side. There's a lot of nutters in the world, and God bless them all. Anyway, Jalen Turner, I think he's 5-0, 5 stoppage. He's very tall. Mm-hmm. He was my sparring partner for Anderson Silva and Luke Rockhold when I beat him. Dan Hooker, what do you think of the matchup?
Well, I think it's about damn time Dan Hooker gets a couple favorable stylistic matchups. I don't know how favorable the actual matchup is. You know, when it comes down to fight time, I think we'll figure that out. But it seems like maybe they're doing Dan Hooker a couple favors. Now, again, Jalen may go in there and just buzzsaw him because he's just that damn good. I got a lot of respect for Jalen and his game. I love watching him fight. He's so entertaining and so technical, so crisp, crazy power for his length too. Really, really like watching that guy fight. But if you're gonna have Dan Hooker fight, I would much rather see him in fights with other strikers, which is exactly what this is. So, yeah, I'm excited about this one. So it's going to be a good fight either way. Stylistically, it's good for Dan Hooker. Now, how they match up individually, we'll see. But
yeah, on paper it has all the ingredients for a fantastic matchup, fight of the night, potential, all that type of stuff, and it really does. Both guys are great. And to your point, I saw an Instagram post, I think when I first saw this story, talking about Dan Hooker's previous opponents. And I just brought up his record here. Paul Felder, when he fought him, Paul was 5-1 in his last 6. Dustin Poirier, apparently he was 5-1 in his last 6. Then it was Michael Chandler, who apparently was riding a big win streak. Nasrat Haqparast, he beat him. Then he fought Islam Makhachev, the lightweight champion, right? And then Arnold Allen, who's this close within spitting distance of a title fight. And Claudio Puelles, who he beat, who apparently was also on a 5-fight win streak. So fair play. You know, Dan Hooker, it's easy to rip on someone when they're losing fights. You know, but when you consider the opposition and when you consider that he does have that kind of attitude where he'll take a fight on short notice, he'll stay in the country because he can't go home because of the absolute nonsense COVID restrictions, you know, and he'll step in the octagon and fight. You got to respect those type of people, you know, and not focus on the results as much. He shows up, he brings it, he lays it all on the line and fight the best out of the best. Even when he was losing, still wasn't looking for easy fights. Do you know what I mean? So he does deserve appreciation in that respect. And against Jalen Turner, you know, he's a friend of mine. He's awesome. In fact, we'll get him on the show soon. Yeah, great fight. Another one. Kelvin Gastelum just got booked to UFC 287 against Chris Action Man Curtis. What do you think of that one?
You know, I think I like the Chris Curtis fight better than I've liked the last couple fights that Kelvin has been booked for. He's had a tough go at it. He's had a tough little run. He's had some injuries, some fight bookings that have had to been canceled. But Chris Curtis can fight. It's not an easy fight, but stylistically, again, I think it's a favorable matchup for Kelvin Gastelum. Now, where is he mentally and kind of emotionally? Where's his confidence at? I think that's going to be the biggest question leading into that fight. But Chris is on a hell of a run right now. He's looked really good in his last few fights. You know, I think he had one hiccup there. I think with was it Hermanson or
Jack Hermanson in London.
So, you know, he had that one hiccup, but he's looked fantastic. He's looked lights out. It'll be a fun fight. And you know, Kelvin does typically when he starts to run into some problems or gets a little uncomfortable on his feet, he'll start mixing in some takedowns, which is when I think he's at his best, is when he does mixing in those takedowns. He's gonna have a tough time doing that with a guy like Chris Curtis. So it'll be an exciting fight.
I'm just looking at Kelvin Gastelum's record as well. And again, it's spotty right now. Beat Johnny Hendricks, destroyed Tim Kennedy, destroyed Vitor Belfort, but overturned because of weed. Bloody ridiculous. Lost to Chris Weidman. Beat some guy in China.
The Weidman fight was weird too. The Weidman, that was a weird fight.
But then he went to China, he beat some guy with one eye that had no business being there, right? That guy should not have been there, so we'll forget about that one. That never happened.
Doesn't count. Never count.
Doesn't count. Then he beat Ronaldo Jacare Souza. Good win there. Loses to Israel Adesanya. Fight of the year contender, right?
Really good fight.
Amazing fight.
Yeah.
Loses to Darren Till in Madison Square Garden. Loses to Jack Hermanson early in the first round by a heel hook on Abu Dhabi. Beats Ian Heinisch. Loses to Robert Whittaker. Loses to Jared Cannonier. Again, look at the losses. Cannonier, Whittaker, Hermanson, Adesanya, you know, Darren Till even, when Darren Till was flying, you know what I mean?
He was on fire then.
That is, again, so, you know, people are quick to write off Gastelum, and I kind of get it. When you're not a casual, but when you look at the sport and you watch it and you're a fan, you're entitled to come to these kind of conclusions. Go, oh, this guy can't win a fight. But when you look closely, and again, by the way, Cannonier, these losses, Cannonier, Whittaker, Hermanson, other than Hermanson, Darren Till, Adesanya, all decisions. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's not hanging in there. So yeah, I think that's a great fight. That is a great fight indeed.
It's a big step up for Chris Curtis too.
It is. Should we get a non-MMA story from Harrington?
Yeah.
So we did the Paris.
What Harrington's doing?
I don't know what is this. A Bournemouth man had his new house wrecked. In fact, we'll let Anthony, you choose. Here's what he's put in the notes. A Bournemouth man, which is a town in England, had his new house wrecked when the couch he paid extra for, the white glove delivery service, wound up jammed on his staircase, right? This is what he puts in. Another one is a new car manufacturer is essentially selling a James Bond level tank to the public with a military package that includes electrified door handles.
Let's go with that one.
And even a pepper spray display. It's an open and closed case. We're having the tank.
This thing is so hardcore.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude.
Look at that.
The Rezvani, I believe it's the Vindicator or the Justicator, whatever it's called.
I
the
hope
Vengeance.
It's called the Vindicator. Or the Vengeance, even better.
The Vengeance.
Yeah. It starts at a $250,000 tank. Starting price. V8. You can get either 7 or 8 seats in it. The screen,
electrified door handles.
Yes,
hold on. Let's just go through this for the audio only listeners. Bulletproof glass and body armor, underside explosive protection, smoke screen, military run flat tires. Anthony, you read out the second list in a minute on the side.
All right.
Thermal night vision detection, reinforced suspension, electromagnetic pulse protection, RAM bumpers, optional explosive device detection, bulletproof vests and helmets.
And we got electrified door handles, siren and horn options, strobe lights, blinding lights, intercom system, magnetic deadbolts, gas masks, first aid kits, hypothermia kit, and a pepper spray dispenser. We need to speak to Gas Digital right now.
Okay, so here's the thing.
I need one.
I need one. Yeah.
This thing has to weigh more than the cutoff for tax write-offs. We could definitely get this for BYM as like a work vehicle and just roll around the country doing live pods in our tank.
Screw that. I'm nipping down to Walmart. I'm buying myself a couple of massive guns and I'm just taking the world on. I've got a tank, baby. I've got smoke screens. I've got electrified handles, gas masks. You can't even blow the goddamn thing up. What are you going to do? Just know, Rebecca leaves me. Everything goes tits up. I develop a major drink and drug problem. I'm buying one of them.
Develop it. You got to develop it.
Bro, look at me. I look 10 years younger according to Harrington these days. I want one of them so bad.
I know. That reminds me.
Check out the interior. Look how sweet it is inside.
Oh my God. This is the best tank ever. Harrington, you need to send me this link.
And Anthony's going to get one as well. When you become champ, that's the first thing on the list.
That's the first thing I'm buying for sure. The local county sheriff department, a couple of their deputies called me a couple of days ago because I know a bunch of a bunch of special forces guys and military people, and they wanted to know if I could reach out to them to see if there's some kind of grants. And long story short, the local county sheriff got their old sheriff before he left office sold their armored vehicle that they use for when people are barricaded and shooting at them. He sold it before he left office for whatever reason. And so now they need one because they've had a couple issues recently where they got barricaded guys for long periods of time. So they didn't know if there was grants and stuff like that. So that just made me think why the hell can't they get one of those?
$200,000. They heard about here on the Believe You Me podcast. With code Bisping or Smith, you get a 15% deposit. A discount. Oh, God.
Maybe that company will hear this and they'll say, listen, Anthony Smith does a lot of driving. He travels all over the country. Why don't we just gift him one of these tanks? I'll sign like a 10-year sponsorship deal. And then I'll just let me have one of those tanks. I could be the biggest endorsement of this vehicle you could ever imagine.
I get no part of this. I get nothing.
I'll drive it to you.
If you get one of them,
I'll drive it to you. Well, I will road trip it. I'll road trip it to California. You and I can just roll around to Walmarts and.
Oh, we're just going to go run things over. I would say though, if you're going to drive that, I don't think it's going to be the most economical. You know what I mean? I mean, Range Rovers are bad.
You've seen the shit that I drive. It can't be too much worse than that.
What do you drive? I haven't seen what you drive.
Oh, I got a big jacked up diesel Excursion and another big lifted truck. And
because you were
I'm a redneck.
I'm a
redneck.
Of course you do. I'm driving a sales rep's car.
You do have a nice car though.
I like it. I was going to get a new one recently. I got, because I went down the garage. I said, ooh, you know how it is. And the guy says, take the keys, take it home, Mike, drive it for a couple of days. I was like, I wanted it. It was an RS6 or RS7 Audi. Beautiful. Ooh. Ridiculous though. Ridiculous. I don't need, it's got a Lamborghini engine. I don't need a car like that. Do you know what I mean? But I was tempted. Anyway, Harrington, what should we go to here, buddy? That was fun. In mixed martial arts, what have we got? What have you got, Anthony? Anything you've got? Don't give me number 9. Number 8. Don't want to talk about him. I'm not going to say who. Brandon Moreno was celebrated with a dope mule in Tijuana. Yeah, I saw that. It's amazing. Good for him. God bless Brandon Moreno. Hopefully get him on the show. Gilbert Burns was pissed off at the rankings committee when he stayed stuck in the number 5 spot below Bilal Muhammad. I never saw this. So what's the story, Harrington? Just that.
No, so yeah, Gilbert Burns took to Twitter after the rankings came out on Monday following his win over Neil Magny. He just went rankings and then the covering your face emoji. The disrespect is real. The guy literally ducks and gets rewarded for it and then wondering what's going on. I actually have a follow-up to this, though.
Please.
Just got a DM from Bilal Muhammad. He said he wants you guys to know that he's never ducked anyone in his life and that you should not trust a man without a haircut.
It's pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Brian, you better bleep that out with a stupid duck sound. We have been minimizing the F-bombs.
We've been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, and he just comes on after lecturing us.
Wait, who did he DM? Wait,
hard
Harrington.
F, Brian.
Harrington, who did he DM?
He DM'd me.
Personally?
Yeah, I was hitting him up for something else.
I was going to say, he can't send me a text.
You want me to hit him up if he wants to come on?
Yeah. Well, no, I got offered him actually last week from Ali Abdelaziz. He said any of my his assistant reached out saying, "Do we want any of his client-based roster?" Mm-hmm. And they said, "What about Bilal?" I said, "Love Bilal. We'll love him on." But we literally just had him on 2 weeks ago. What about Kamaru Usman and Justin Gage? Because they got big fights coming up. Never heard back on that one, but I followed up again. So hopefully, come on. What do you think about that though? Brian, before Anthony speaks, just while he speaks, just bring up the lightweight rankings, please, or welterweight rankings, sorry, whilst Anthony talks.
I understand why Gilbert would be upset. Like when people start passing the rankings that you haven't fought. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to kind of grab Gilbert and say, come on, bro, you know how this works. It's the rankings are kind of bullshit until they're not bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't understand. Bilal did beat.
Just leave it there, Brian.
He did beat Stephen. He did beat Stephen Thompson. He did beat Sean Brady. I get that, but he didn't beat Gilbert Burns. So I would take Kamaru, Colby, Hamzat, and Gilbert, and I would just leave them right where they're at because none of those guys, other than Kamaru and Colby, have really fought each other. So I think that if I was ranking those guys, I don't know how I would put Bilal above Gilbert, and that has nothing to do with those two actually fighting each other. It's just they haven't. And Gilbert fought Hamzat to a very, very close fight. So I think those guys belong at 3 and 4, respectively.
Yeah. On that, and again, I'm not taking sides in this, but just thinking logically how they should do, and love Bilal, love Gilbert, both friends of the show. Gilbert's last fight was Jeff Neal. He's number 7. Bilal's last fight was Sean Brady. He's number 8. So I don't know how that puts...
Gilbert's last fight was...
Oh, Neil. Sorry, what am I saying? Neil Magny. I always get Neil Magny and Jeff Neal mixed up. Yeah, Jeff Neal, Neil Magny. Right, crap. My bad. Okay. But still, you know what? I wouldn't pay too much attention to the rankings in general. It's nice to be ranked.
Yeah.
It's
It
lovely
doesn't
to be
really
ranked.
matter.
And of course, it's a nice little ego stroke. And it does matter in terms of potential matchups down the line and selling it to the audience and all the rest of it. But, you know, it's just a bunch of journalists that sit around and play God. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being disrespectful to them. They don't necessarily matter.
No, the rankings matter more to the general public and fans than it actually does the UFC. So, like, yeah, I think it in terms of who would get a title shot, it depends on who they fought. But like, it might be Bilal above Gilbert just because Gilbert's already had one. But all things created equal, I would probably go with Gilbert first because of his close fight with Hamzat. But I also think that Bilal still has that one sexy win that's escaping him still. And he needs a Colby Covington. He needs a Hamzat. He needs a Gilbert Burns. He needs one of those guys. That's not that I don't respect his win over Sean Brady. I think that his win over Sean Brady was fantastic, especially the way that he did it. The way he did it mattered most to me. So he beat a guy like that exactly how you should beat a guy like that if you're going to be having title contention conversations in your mouth. So I thought he did a fantastic job, but he still needs that one like marquee name, like that, the guy that everybody respects. Like, you got to beat a guy that everyone knows is the guy. That's Colby, Hamzat, Gilbert. He needs one of those.
To your point, the way that Bilal beat Brady was what he needed to do to show the world, hey, listen, I don't just go out there, take people down and grind them on the ground. He went out and beat a guy that's also a world famous, world level grappler, beaten to a pulp on the feet. So that was beautiful. It showed there's other sides to his game. But you know how they settled this, don't you?
Yeah, fight it out, boys.
They fight each other. I mean, yeah, Gilbert called that Colby. I get that. He's a bigger name with respect to Bilal, but Bilal's creeping up, doing better, doing big things, of course. You know, but they can fight. They can figure it out in the octagon. It's the perfect platform for it. It is the perfect platform.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how we could I don't know how in any way we could settle this, Mike.
How do we get to the bottom of this?
How do we figure out who's better between Bilal and Gilbert? I don't know. There's got to be a way.
I don't know. Harrington, Nick Diaz. We all love Nick Diaz. I mean, the legend Diaz is absolutely unbelievable. You know, the career that he had. And, you know, I think his best times have probably passed by. You know, I know he was flirting with a comeback again. But what's he been up to lately, Harrington?
So he has taken his time away from the octagon to get into the movie game. He actually shot a fight scene in a new Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. And according to people on set, he showed up and was like, no, we got to do it like this, man. And just started recreating the fight choreography on the fly to make it look pretty badass.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy for him because Nick Diaz, it's always awesome to see legends of the sport getting these kind of opportunities. Van Damme isn't the blockbuster movie star that he used to be, but he's still out there, still making movies. And to do a movie with Van Damme would be amazing. Cool. When I was a kid, Van Damme was my guy, right? When my dad bought me Bloodsport, or was it? No, it was Kickboxer. He bought me Kickboxer on VHS, I think, for my 10th birthday. And I watched that a million times. I wanted to be Van Damme. To do a movie with him, that's pretty cool. What do you think?
Have you ever had the opportunity to do any kind of work with Van Damme at all?
No, I've met him. He's actually rep by the same agency that I'm with. But no, never done it. I did an audition because he did this drama thing. It was one of his best things called JCVD, where he kind of plays like a different version of himself, but it's him. He's Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he's like a CIA agent or something. It's actually really, really good. So I did an audition for that, and I wanted to get it. Yes, Brian.
Have you guys seen Jean-Claude Van Jones or Jean-Claude Van Johnson? He plays himself, but Jean-Claude Van Damme is a cover, and he's been a secret agent his whole life.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's
hilarious.
what I'm talking.
Yeah,
and it's really good. It's really, really good as well. Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Did you like Van Damme when you were a kid growing up?
Yeah. That's where my nickname comes from.
Oh, the movie Lionheart.
Yeah.
It was called AWOL.
That's how my amateur career started. Essentially,
really?
Like fighting.
Yeah, it was called AWOL in England. I remember when I had my second UFC fight, UFC 70.
It was called AWOL
in Manchester. It was called AWOL in England.
Yeah.
Yeah. Van Damme came to the fight, and then afterwards, at the after party, Van Damme was there.
That'd be.
He
I
went to a
would love
phase
to meet him.
Oh, he was cool. He was cool. But he went for a phase that was very well documented, that he was doing a lot of alcohol and cocaine and stuff.
Yeah.
He definitely was doing a lot of alcohol and cocaine. but hey, there's no judgment here, buddy. We're all having a great time. We hung out till like 6 o'clock in the morning, and we were all pretty hammered, to be honest. Yeah, but for me, it was surreal. I'm like, this is because it was only my second fight. I'm from a tiny little town. You know what I mean? I'm like, This is mental. How has my life changed like this? I'm hanging out with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was talking to my missus more than me, to be honest, but fair play. She's a pretty.
That tends to happen a lot, doesn't it? Sometimes you end up in like these cool places with all these cool people, and they don't really want to talk to you. They end up like chit-chatting with your cousin or your wife, or you're like, well, this sucks.
And you're like, you're trying to butt in the conversation. So tell me about the time. They're like, fuck off, dickhead. We don't want to talk to you. Any breaking news, Harrington, that we need to get to? How long have we been going for? For a while here, about an hour 20, something like that.
We watched the Jiri response to Jamal winning the belt last episode, but there's a
Pereira.
There's a Jamal responded to Jiri, if you want to see that.
Oh yeah, no. We've seen. Oh, did we not play it on the show? Because I've seen it. It's
no, we played we played Jiri on the last episode, and this just came out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Sound.
Where you at though? Where you at though? And by the way, that's what she said. That's what she said.
I'm coming. I don't know why I did that in an Arnold voice. I'm coming. Was he in the snow, or is that photoshopped?
No, he's out in the snow.
Yeah,
with the belt on. God bless him. Let me ask you this, Anthony. Let me ask you this, and be honest. Of course, you've got a great relationship with Jamal, and you're very, very happy for him. We know that. But when you see Jamal there, and he's in the forest, and the snow's coming down, he's got the UFC light heavyweight strap wrapped around him, do you think, enjoy that belt, brother, because I'm happy for you, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But I'm looking to take that belt from you, brother, in a super respectful way.
Yeah. Well, there's a part of me that okay. First of all, I am the same that I was with Glover. I am genuinely very, very, very happy for Jamal and especially his team, his coaches. They're truly a good group of guys. They really are. I seen the work and the desire that he had to win that belt.
Yeah.
So like I am super happy for him, but I also have the same burning desire to hold that thing myself. So whether it's him or whoever, I have no matter what, I got to fight one more time. So it's almost hard to even think about the title right now because I have another task ahead of me. But yeah, he knows, and his team knows, and his manager knows. I want that belt just as bad as he wanted to win it. So he knows exactly what that means, and anybody who's ever gotten close to it or fought for it once before or is getting close to it knows what that burning desire feels like. So there's no secret there. He knows how I feel.
No secret there whatsoever. And you both help each other, and it's made the best man win. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to become the champion. That's what we're all here for. That's everyone that signs a contract with the UFC thinks, I'm going to try and become the champion. Of course they do. And he knows that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Brian, would you just bring up the light heavyweight rankings for me? Sorry, buddy. Because let's look at this, because Brian, edit this bit out if you can't say, but I'm not going to mention any names, but you have a potential fight booking that you can't speak about yet, right?
Yeah.
I won't say anything more because it's not my business. So you have a fight coming up, but let's have a look at the rankings and let's just see how things might be able to play out. Because who do you think Jamal's going to end up defending against next? Because Paul Craig kind of had a stake because he was the only man to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. But he lost, so he's out.
Yeah. So
there's Jiri, but
Glover is out. Glover's out
gone
because he retired. Rakic is still hurt. I don't know what's going on with Jan and Ankalaev. If I had to guess, I'm going to be very honest. I think it's going to end up being me because Jiri said, I think he said yesterday on Ariel's show that he still needed some time. He wanted his body to get right. And then Jamal had a response saying he wants to wait for Jiri, but he needs an answer by April. Like he needs to know, like, are you going or not? I need to know in April. So I think I'll fight before then. And I don't know that Yuri's going to be ready. I think that he's rushing it. I think his expectations are better possibly. And again, I don't know his health. I don't know where he's at, but it went from him being out for 2 years to him talking about fighting this summer. That seems a little crazy. So
yeah,
I think he's optimistic. And for his sake, I hope he is able to fight because I think he deserves it. He never lost the title. I'd love to see him and Jamal versus each other, but if it's not Jiri, I think that I'm the next one to fight. I think I would be next in line.
Grant, assuming you win your next fight, of course.
Right.
Yeah, because I think what you said or what Jamal said about Jiri, or Jiri said himself, he's probably being very optimistic. Of course, he wants to get back in there. Of course, he sees a new champion being crowned. And that probably hits him a little bit differently because he's wearing what he feels is rightly his because he never lost the belt. And I understand that. And it was, again, so gracious of him to vacate the belt, to stop all this interim nonsense. So shout out to Jiri for that. But of course, when he sees that, that's going to strike. He's going to feel that. He's going to,
it's going to hit a nerve.
He'll feel it in a certain type of way. Like I remember, and again, I've said this a few times, and it's one of my most regrettable things because Robert Whittaker, I'm such a huge fan of. But when he fought Yoel and beat him and had the interim title on, and I walked in with my belt, and I was going to be so respectful. And then I walked in and we had to do a little square up, and he was standing there with the belt on. Do you know what I mean? I was like, no, that's my belt. That's what I've worked my entire ass off for. I bloody slogged away with one eye to get, and you're standing there with that on. So I just went off the deep end like an absolute maniac, threw my belt on the floor and stormed out like a little girl. So I kind of get it.
Who went and got your belt afterwards?
Say again.
Who went and got your belt afterwards?
Not me. It wasn't my belt. It was just like a prop one. Yeah. But obviously a big question, and I want to know what you think. There's Jan Blachowicz and Magomed there. They fought for the belt. It was a draw. It wasn't a fan favorite matchup. Certainly wasn't going to get fight of the night. Where do you think they play into the picture?
I think they got to fight again. I'd love to see them fight again. They got to get some sort of finality there. They got to get one of them has to stand above the other one some way. So either each other or somebody else. I think they got to fight again, and I'd love to see them fight each other again. And that's why, again, people are in the comments going to say, "Oh, you're saying you deserve all this." Listen, I'm going to fight. I'll be the next fucking one to fight. So if I get the win, I stand above everybody else. Rakic is coming off a loss. Jan and Magomed, neither one of those guys are coming off of a win.
And Rakic blew his knee out as well, remember? So he's probably ready to come back, but still.
He's still coming off a loss. And I'm not saying it's not valid. Because I had the same thing happen to me as far as an injury causing the end of the fight. But if I come back and I fight first and I'm coming off of a win, don't be mad at me because I got back before you did, and was able to get back in the win column. Like the way the division is right now, people are saying that it's, the division is kind of weird and there's a whole bunch of uncertainty. I think it makes it interesting because now we're all racing. Yeah. Now we got to, between the four of us, we're racing to see who's going to get a win first. Because that would put us next to the line. So I think it's going to be me.
Yeah, because your fight, and again, not saying too much, isn't a million years away. It's pretty
that far away. Yeah.
Relatively close. So you get the win. Hey, you've got a bloody good case. Especially if you rock it on the microphone, Anthony. Right. You say, you take all those, what is it? Just over a year of training on the Believe You Me podcast. I've brought you out your shell. I've taught you how to speak. I'll give you some media training. Don't worry. Perfect. And you nail that interview.
Even better, call him out. Even if you're working the event, you can set me up good, and we'll just light that fucking place on fire.
I am working the event.
Hell yeah!
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah.
Hit a believe, conceive, achieve line, and then drop the mic.
Oh my God.
I won't drop it. I'll hand it back to you.
Hey, but I am not biased in my commentary, Anthony.
Not at all.
If you're being crap, I'm going to say it. If you're not doing
you better
well,
not do it too don't do it too goddamn loud. I'll come over in
such a
between
fine
rounds
line
and
to
have a
walk.
conversation.
Because obviously I'm friendly with a lot of people that
Right.
fight. You know what I mean? But I got to call it like I see it. It is always a tricky one, but that's the job.
Yeah, you know me. I don't give a shit.
No, I know. All right, let's just talk about Fitbod really quick. As you know, it's a workout app for your phone. And you might think, well, why do I need that? I can go to the gym. Well, this works in conjunction with the gym. Sometimes you go into the gym, you're bored, the same old routine. You're not making gains. You're not losing weight. And it all gets stale. Maybe you don't even have a gym membership. You can't afford a personal trainer. That is where Fitbod comes in, okay? It will help you with everything, all based upon the equipment that you have. If you've got a gym, if you've got a garage, if you've got a park, if you've got nothing, it'll have workouts that you can do, okay? So whether you've been missing gym time or you've just hit a plateau, a fresh start has never been easier. The app switches up your exercises to avoid overtraining or burnout, and your programs change based upon your personal progress so you can maximize results. So whether you're working out in the weight room or just your bedroom, Fitbod has a plan for you. And also, this is big. Learn new movements the right way. They have over 1,400 HD demonstration videos. So you watch it, you learn properly. You're not going to injure yourself, okay? A full year of Fitbod is less than the cost of a single session with a personal trainer. So if you want to get serious about your fitness, but you're not exactly an expert, which most people aren't, then get Fitbod, okay? Join Fitbod today and build a routine that lasts all year. And variety is the spice of life. And certainly when it comes to working out, the same stuff over and over again gets so boring. That is where Fitbod comes in. Over 1,400 videos to demonstrate it will work to you. You can set your goals, you can maximize results, and you're going to lose weight. You're going to feel great, and you're going to save money because right now you can get 25% of your subscription, or listen to this, you can try that bad boy out for free at fitbod.me/believe. That is fitbod.me/believe. 25% off, or try it out for free. If you are looking for motivation, go to fitbod.me/believe. If you don't know what to do, go to fitbod.me/believe. You've got no excuse. You can try it for free. I know I'm annoying you. You want to get back to the podcast, but if you want to lose that beer belly, you want to get in shape, you want to get some abs, you want to just feel good about yourself, go to fitbod.me/believe. All right. Anything, Hamilton?
Yes. So you asked for breaking news. I got this as kind of a juicy piece here. So Irene Aldana was supposed to be fighting against Amanda Nunes at UFC 285. Apparently, they hit a snag in negotiations there. Amanda Nunes said she wants a number one contender, like a title eliminator fight between Juliana Pena and Irene Aldana. Now, Juliana Pena is like, no, I'm not fighting anybody other than the champion. So there is a three-way stalemate at the top of the 135-pound division right now.
Which is interesting, and no disrespect to Juliana Pena, but she lost that last fight pretty convincingly, to be fair. She showed a ton of will and heart, and bravery. Has to be commended for that. She made it to the final bell. It wasn't looking like that. She got dropped a few times early. So well done. Irene Aldana I love watching her fight. She's great. And I would love to see Nunes fight Irene Aldana. I wonder why Nunes is saying that.
Maybe she's not ready. Maybe she's not ready to get into camp. Maybe I don't know. Seems like, and I mean this with all due respect, seems like Amanda's getting to the end of the road though, just by some of the way she. I don't want to say the way she acts, but the way that she is conducting her career right now does seem like a lady that's, she's only got a couple left in the chamber, and she wants to make them matter.
She's only 34. I just Googled her real quick. Only for some reason, I think it's because she's been around the sport forever.
Been doing it forever, too.
She's doing it forever. I just thought she was older than that. But I'm scrolling down to her record. Gotta love Wikipedia. It's great.
Yeah.
It's one of my main tools for research. 22-5, had her first UFC fight in 2013. So 10 years in the UFC. Made her MMA debut 2008. So she's been in the sport 15 years now. So you got to think, because sometimes it's not about.
That's wild. I made my debut in 08, my professional debut, my pro debut in 08, and my first UFC fight was in 2013.
And you've had about 50 fights, right? What's the record?
I don't even know.
Oh
shit! What's up, dog? I feel like
champ is here.
I feel like I just talked to you.
Feels a
What's
lot.
up, Jamal?
Feels a lot that way.
I thought, you want to just shimmy it over? There we go. There we go, brother. I thought we weren't going to get you today because I totally messed up. I thought you were coming on at 1 p.m. I was like, oh, we were talking about it before because I'm shit. I didn't even tell Brian to send you a link. My bad, I forgot. But thank you for being here. And congratulations. I mean, come on, everyone. Round of applause for Jamahal Hill, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, Jesus Christ, you're the champion of the world. Do you ever think you'd get there?
Yeah, I mean, so I started this for, I started just to get to a world title, and yeah, man, it's still just crazy that it actually happened. It's been hitting me a little bit more so today. It's been hitting me a little more today. Just realizing like, oh shit, okay, champ.
What I know you had a crazy day yesterday in media. Feels like every time I was scrolling through Instagram, I seen you sitting on a camera somewhere with a different person. How's all that been? Just dealing with just the obligations of that champ life.
Yeah, it's just been it's kind of been like an extended fight week, kind of like when you headlining in a big fight and you extend out, you just got more media coverage, especially like the pay-per-views. It's been like a non-stop like pay-per-view fight week.
Yeah. I because we were talking earlier on a direct message, and you said, "Yeah, I've been doing so many interviews, yada yada yada." I said, "Yeah, welcome to Champ Life," because that's what it gets, right? Yeah. But I also said, "But wait until the checks start rolling in. Wait until the pay-per-view bonuses. Wait until the sponsorship, the deals, all the appearances, brother. It's a pain in the ass, yes, but cha-ching, baby, cha-ching.
Some of that.
Yeah. Let's just go back to the fight, right? We all said I picked you to win the fight. I thought you were going to catch him. I thought you were going to knock him out, right? Because you got that knockout power. I said nobody. I'm sure you did, and people in your team. But a lot of people, the general consensus wasn't that you would beat him systematically over 5 rounds. You would show ridiculously good takedown defense. If taken down and mounted, you would then reverse the situation. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, I don't really have a question at the end of it. It's more of a statement, but I guess, I mean, what a performance, man. I mean, I guess you're happy, but are you happy that you got to show it over 5 rounds and show the improved skill set that you have now?
Yeah, in hindsight, I'm glad that I was able to give a little bit more of a glimpse of the things that I can do and that I'm capable of. But I think I'm capable of much more. Better performance, cleaner performance, things like that. So yeah, that's what I'm hungry for now. Because now I'm only fighting the best now, and I've always prided myself on rising to the level of the occasion. So now the occasion is the next best, is the highest level dude. So I'm excited for that.
Do you find yourself trying to figure out, like, anytime I fight and I get a win, but maybe it was tougher than I wanted it to be, or a little bit harder, do you find yourself like trying to figure out what you can change and better in your training camp? And if you've done that, what are some things you would have done differently leading into the Glover fight?
Yeah, there are definitely things that I would have done if I had. I would have liked to have had more time. I would have
say probably more time.
Yeah, just more strength and conditioning. There wasn't a whole lot of time for strength and conditioning like that, as far as building like muscle endurance and things like that, for the simple fact that I had to make sure I was healthy enough. I actually sustained some injuries in the Santos fight that I had to come back for and recover from, and that's what took me so long to start the camp for what was supposed to be our fight. But yeah, I would have liked more time to just be more in shape and more ready.
Jamal, I gotta say, brother, come on, give us a smile. You look like you've just been. You look like you've just been to a funeral. You're the light heavyweight champ of the goddamn world, man. I mean, this is incredible. It really is, and enjoy everything that's coming to you. How many UFC light heavyweight champs has there ever been? Is what I was just googling. There hasn't been many. Frank Shamrock, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, Vito Belfort, Chuck Liddell, Quinton, Forrest, Rashad Lyoto, Shogun, Jones, Cormier, Jones, Blachowicz, Glover, Jiri Prochazka, Jamahal Hill. I mean, come on, man. Congratulations. It's just incredible. What have you been doing to celebrate?
I've just been chilling. It's been a camp was just like it came on so fast, so I had to jump right in and just be busy. So these last couple of days, I kind of just been chilling. I done had like a little bit of jet lag from being over in Brazil or whatever, and the flight back. Not sleeping all that well since after I won the belt. So I just been trying to get back.
Just let me jump in there, Anthony, because I want to ask this. It just occurred to me when I won it. When I got home, it still didn't feel real.
Yeah.
It took a while to set in. I remember like me and my wife sitting there, and we're like, it doesn't feel real, but I guess it is because there's the belt.
Right.
Did you experience something similar?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, it just don't feel real. It's like, yeah, I get it, and then like sometimes I think about it, like, yeah, I'm the champ. But it's like, I don't know, that explosive, like that one, just like rushing feeling it, just like, oh, I'm the champion. Like, I haven't really felt that yet.
Do you think you will, or do you think it'll just slowly set in over time?
I think it'll probably slowly set in over time. Yeah, I think probably one of those things that just slowly set in over time.
I think maybe once you settle into just your regular day-to-day, and it's not like media and excuse me, and family members and friends and everybody wanting to see you and talk to you and catch up. I would guess it'll probably set in after that, because I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. You look tired. Look like you've been.
You do look tired. You look like you look.
I don't mean.
No
I'm not
offense.
saying you look like shit. You just look like you've been working.
You look, and I get it. Like you would rather be any place in the world, but on this podcast right now, and I get it. You've been on 3 times recently. You're like fucking these guys again. Leave me alone, bro.
Nah, bro, y'all my guys, bro. I always like talking to y'all coming on. It's always a good talk. So,
hey, you were sorry, my bad, Mike. You were talking about
no, my bad.
Kind of having some champion type of obligations you got to do, like you got invited to the Super Bowl, and you're gonna go spend some time in LA. You got an extra Super Bowl ticket, or am I just asked out over here?
Look! I got a Super Bowl ticket. I think I'm just going out for like the experience of the week, and we like talk to some people in the media and things like that. But
that's good for you. It's good timing to go do that type of shit when it's one of the biggest sporting events in the world. That's get in front of some fucking cameras. That's a great idea. I love that.
I'm looking forward to it. I've never watched it. We talked about it. I never went to an NFL game or an NBA game or nothing like that. So yes, I'm gonna end up having to get out to one of those. But if it's my pick, I got to go see my Lions live first.
Right.
Let's talk about Glover real quick. I mean, obviously, I think I speak on behalf of everybody in the MMA community. Everybody loves Glover, right? The man is a class act, and he's a warrior inside the octagon. After Brandon Moreno got pelted with bottles on his way out, and then he gets on the microphone and speaks to the Brazilian crowd, and I forget the exact words, it's something along the lines of, hey, don't do that shit here, and I'm going to walk Jamahal out. I mean, what a guy.
Yeah, he told me to wait. He was like, you walk out with me. So we did that, and that was it. That was an honor to share his last walk with him too.
Yeah.
Meant to be, making sure I was getting out good and, and respectfully and things like that. So yeah, that was awesome.
You fucked him up pretty good though. He was a mess back at the hotel, bro. Not that I was there, but I've seen the pictures online. Poor guy.
Yeah, he was looking pretty rough. He was looking pretty rough at the hotel.
That's just part of the business.
It's part of, you know what? I didn't feel that bad for him because he did that same shit to me.
Part of the job.
Part of the job. Hey, we were, I was listening to, like, I listened to you on Ariel, and then I listened to Jiri because I was just curious kind of like what each one of you guys were going to have to say. And it sounded like both you guys are willing to wait, until summer International Fight Week time, or it seems like a long time though. It does seem like a long time to wait. And dude, I get it. It's pay-per-view points. Jiri's a big star. That's big money. That's a huge opportunity. That's the former champion, that didn't lose it. There's a good storyline there. You don't seem like the wanting to wait type of person though.
Not really, but I also have, like, you know what I mean, I got the fracture to my nose and things like that. And then to get the type of camp that I want, I think July is actually a pretty decent time, pretty decent time, especially like right on tap with the schedule that I've been having, you know. So I actually would be willing to wait for that. But, you know, if another challenge pops up, you know what I mean, and it's ready to go, it is what it is. I'm down.
International Fight Week. That's a big one. That's a big one. Of course, you take a cut of that stuff these days. After the fight, Jamal, you were overcome with emotion. And it was beautiful to see, you know, the journey that you've been on. And I'm sorry to bring up monetary stuff again, because it's not all about money. It's not. But what were you doing for work prior to fighting professionally for a living? What did you used to do?
I worked in a factory. The last factory that I worked in, I built crates, like big ass crates, like about 24-foot crates for shipping like sign parts. Big metal.
And I did similar stuff. I'm sure Anthony did. A lot of fighters come from similar backgrounds. I remember when I decided I was going to become a professional fighter, and like a dickhead, I was all excited about it. I was telling people, here's what I'm going to do. And I know for a fact people were talking shit behind my back. I know even my own friends, because some better friends, if you will, were telling me, they were talking shit back at the house the other night, having a few beers, laughing and saying, what is he doing? I guess, did you experience anything like that? And I always say, well, that's all well and good, because look who got the last laugh. I mean, not about your friends, but the journey that you've been on. I'm assuming you had doubters and haters, for want of a better word, along the way.
Yeah, I've had them. I've had both. But as far as like people that are like fake to my face, or like anybody who knew me, like even from like my first amateur fight. I had my first amateur fight was March 6, 2010. So I had an amateur career, like where there was actually a sample size to where you could see anybody that saw me fought knew that I could, you know what I mean, knew that I was really good. So I didn't really have much of that. If anything, like older people, like they just didn't understand.
Yeah.
I'm figuring out the last couple of days with some of your media, and obviously I had you on my Sirius XM show too, but I'm not the only guy in the light heavyweight division that's super petty. And
where's this going?
Well, Mike, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of times where I'll save screenshots of people talking shit to me on Twitter, and then after I go win, I'll send the screenshots back to them. So I'll be sitting in the hotel, like during COVID days, I'd fight. Like I think I fought Devin Clark or something, and I went back in the hotel. I spent like 2 hours sending all the shit talking screenshots back to people on Twitter. So, you know, I've heard you've just told some stories about just some of the petty stuff and remembering shit. Did you get to most of the people you wanted to get to, and what was like your, I don't know, the funnest,
I don't know,
the funnest interaction or the funnest, like who did you look forward to kind of rubbing in their face a little bit?
I haven't gotten to it yet. That's funny that you said that, because I was just gonna get around to that soon. You know, I already went through like you know, the most of the aftermath and like kind of like the things that happen after. Now I'm headed. Don't worry, it's coming. I'm coming to the before it's all I don't see how he beats Glover. He doesn't have a chance. Oh, if Glover gets you down, he's gonna strangle you. Your ground game's whack. All of this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember. Don't worry. I get around to them. Yeah, they just had some layers of other stuff that was dumped on top of them, and I'm digging through the trash.
Well, of course, now you're the man on top of the mountain, right? And everybody that fights in the light heavyweight division wants what you have. You know, in some ways, you have a target on your back. You're public enemy number one, whatever you want to call it. You're the man they want to take down. Who is going to be next? I mean, obviously, I love the stuff back and forth with you and Jiri this week. Do you think that's going to be likely as your next opponent? And failing that, who do you think?
I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know his like his situation or anything like that. I like to have something figured out by at least, like, you know what I mean, April. You know, if seeing like if he can make that back for that international fight week. If not that, then somebody else. See who's next. I don't get the feeling that they're like really feeling like the whole Magomed or Leon between those two. So I don't know, maybe they fight again, they wait, fight somebody else. I don't know. I don't know the situation as far as like with Anthony and things like that. So I think maybe I might be stuck waiting anyway, the way that I figure it, because a couple fights are gonna have to play out first, I believe.
I'm going to jump in real quick there, Anthony. Sorry, it should be your turn. We were talking earlier on the show, as I say, you're the champion, and out of nothing but respect, of course, Anthony wants to fight you. If and when, and I hope it does come down to that, boys, and I know it might be a little weird for you, but it's all business when it's all said and done. I mean, I've already answered my own question, but would that be a little, not weird, but yeah, would it be a little weird?
I don't think so.
Nah, because it's just business. You know, I think we look at it the same way. It's just business. And I know after us in period outside of us fighting each other and me wanting to win, I want nothing but the best for him. You know what I mean? And if the best thing for him and his family is to fight me, then yeah, I'll give him. We can do that. And then afterwards we walk out, we have a drink and chill as brothers. We talk about it in the ring. It's on it.
We do the same shit. I mean, it's and Mike and I were talking earlier, and it was essentially like I kind of said the same thing. I feel like Jan and Magomed are going to have to fight somebody again. They're going to have to do something. And Rakic is coming off of a loss and kind of banged up a little bit. Glover's out. Like, I think one of us has to fight and stand above everybody else. I think that's what it comes down to, you know? So
if they don't want to see Blachowicz and Jan again, I think you and Jan will be a good fight.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I just think that someone's got to make a move, and they got to stand above everybody else. It doesn't matter to me. I'll fight anybody. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter to me.
Fucking A.
Exactly. That's the business. That's what we're doing. Obviously, John Jones was the man forever, and he's still the man in many ways to a lot of people. He's making his heavyweight debut. When you become the champion, and I know this is you're just focusing on right now, and you just won the belt, but does you know, if you were to continue winning fights and defending the belt, would that be someone that you would be interested in coming back down to light heavyweight and having a go at what people call the GOAT?
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. I want to eventually build to a fight against John. That's what he's the ultimate test. You know, he was from the time that I came and decided, all right, I'm gonna make this run. And you know, when it first started, it was Anderson Silva. Mm-hmm. You know, he was the man. You know, it was 2010 and things like that. But then after it kind of like he had his injury and things like that, I kind of fell off from the sport. Like that's why another reason I started working and things like that. And I didn't really see the money in it and all of that. Then Conor happened, and then it's like, all right, but Conor got that because he had Aldo, who's been undefeated for 10 years. He had somebody to chase. I needed somebody to chase. And this whole time I've been chasing John.
Love that.
Just that fight.
You know, speaking of like, this reminded me of, I was thinking about John and legacy stuff and legend status. It's kind of the last one for me. Are you surprised to see Pereira kind of coming out of nowhere, kind of popping off a little bit and just like almost, and I get it. I get the Pereira thing. I understand it a little bit because of he had to sit cage side and watch you beat the shit out of his mentor. So I kind of understand, you know, his maybe irritation, and maybe he's seen something somewhere where you said that you would knock him out. But we talked about this earlier on the show. Were you what do you think about that? Are you a little bit like, you kind of like, you know, maybe mind your own business and worry about your own division for a little bit? Or are you just like, fuck it, come on if you're coming?
I don't give a fuck, bro. If they want to put him in front of me, and you know what I mean, we go ahead and make a bag for me to see. So let them see what's up. I'm good with that. I don't care. Like I made my dream come true. Now it's about showing motherfuckers what's up. You know, like I want people to really think and really have long late nights that they should have thinking about fighting me whenever they signed on to fight me. You know, it's about establishing myself and really invoking fear.
How old are you, Jamal?
I'm 31.
31. So you got a long career ahead of you. So listen, we'll let you go because I'm sure you've been doing the rounds and talking to everybody, and the last thing you want to do is this. But just, you got a target on your back, man. This is an amazing achievement. You know, it's an incredible time in your life that you'll remember forever. and you have such an opportunity now to make a difference to your family's life, to your life. You'll be remembered. You'll go down. You're in the history books, man. And with that comes a tremendous amount of earning potential, but comes a lot of pressure as well. And now every motherfucker on the planet wants you. You're taking on the number one guy next time. So go out. Don't get fucking sloppy. Keep training hard. And I know you ain't gonna do that, but you now you're fighting the number one contender every time that scraped and clawed their way to the fucking top. So you've done it. It's incredible, right? All the best with the future. Enjoy this moment, though. You gotta fucking enjoy this moment. Oh, so I was gonna let you go, but our little understudy Hamilton has something to say, apparently.
Well, yeah, man, I wanted to wish you good luck for your next fight, and I'm glad I got to. Just real quick before we go, I have a message here from another fighter on the roster for you.
Oh,
my brother Jamal. Just wanted to wish you a huge congratulations, bro. That was the most epic thing I ever watched. Amazing performance. You're the best 205 pounder in the world right now. I don't care. Haters are going to hate, doubters are going to doubt, and you're just going to keep on winning, bro. Congrats, and new.
That's awesome.
It is.
That's awesome, bro. That's my bro. You know what I mean? Well, Bilal's had my back since day one. Even before I even really fully knew who he was, he was just supporting. I'm like, damn. I'm like, who is this? And then from there, bro, we just we've been locked in. And now we built a really great relationship. Same thing for you, and bro, I appreciate you. I appreciate you answering that call when I called and I reached out. And answering it in the way that you did and was there like you were, because a lot of people could have went the other way. You'd have been right to tell me, nah, I don't feel like doing that or anything. Whatever, bro. But yeah, bro, I appreciate that, bro. You helped make my dream come true, bro. Nah. I'll never forget that, bro. And I always, bro, you already know, bro.
Oh, yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. And you're welcome, bro. Just like I told you and I told your coach, Chad, and in the words of Brian Butler when he's telling you all the time don't go do rapper shit now that you're the world champion. Just a little bit, bro. Just a little bit. Go do some rapper shit.
Did you buy yourself a new watch? Is that a new watch you got on there?
No,
no.
I'm not doing rapper shit. I'm not doing rapper shit.
Do a little bit of rapper shit.
You gotta treat yourself.
Party a little bit. Buy something a little bit nice. Mike. When I was there training, I walked out and I walked outside and I was looking around at all the cars in the parking lot. And I was like, which car does Jamahal Hill drive? And I'm not going to say the kind of car he drives out loud, but it's a very nice vehicle, but it's not it's very humble.
Champ car.
What?
It's not a champ car.
No, it's a nice dad mobile. You know what I mean? It's not, he can fit some kids in there and shit, but it's not a van or anything. Jamal. But it fit his kids. You got to do a little bit of rapper shit. Just a little. You earn that shit.
Oh yeah. No, you got to reap the benefits of the spoils, of course. But when I became champ, my mate owns a dealership. He has all fancy cars out of my pay range. I went down there. I was looking for something new to upgrade. I said, I got this Maserati here, quadruporte GTS, all customed out. And he sold me. He's like, this is what I was asking for it. And I'll sell it to you for what I paid for it. You could drive it for 2 years and still sell it for more than what you pay. I'm like, it's an investment. I did it. Bought it cash. Right when I took it back, he offered me next to nothing for it. So yeah, enjoy it, but don't waste it, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna make money.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks again for joining us. I know you've been in hot demand this week, so Jamal, appreciate it. One last time, congratulations and everything. Looking forward to the future, and that's about it, man. All the best.
Thank you, fellas. I appreciate you,
brother. Stay in touch, man.
For sure, 100%.
Nice, good. I'm glad he got to join us.
Yeah,
I really am. That was beautiful to see between you two as well, Anthony.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He really is. We'll fight when we got to fight, but he's a good dude, man. That's one of those guys that are I'm glad I met that guy. I'm glad that I'm glad we're friends. I'm glad that fighting bullshit aside, that's just a good dude to just have in your life. He's a good dude.
Yeah, certainly seems like it. And again, that show of emotion afterwards I don't know, some dickheads go, well, what's he crying for? Well, I'll tell you what, when you come from a tough background and then you get involved in the toughest sport on planet Earth, and you get all the way to the top of the mountain, and you've had, you know,
with an almost 0% likelihood of being successful.
Correct.
Like the chances of coming from the places that like the three of us came from to ending up being successful, even enough to make a living fighting, let alone winning a world championship, are almost fucking zero.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly.
As close to zero as you can be without being zero.
Yeah. No, I know. It really is. So that's why it was such a beautiful moment. I guess we'll do a question or two and then we'll get out of here. Thanks again to Jamal for showing up there. Again, he looked so tired though.
He looks tired.
I remember, I'll tell a quick story now. When I won the belt, they sent me on like a mini world tour, if you will. And I had to go all over the fucking place. And the final stop was New York. And in New York, then we doing a bunch of press and all the rest of it. And then we're doing a photo shoot for the cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine or something like that. Well, I was hitting the town pretty hard. Do you know what I mean? So and when I got to New York, I did the first day of media that was on the schedule. And then I went out and I was in a nightclub. I was with Leonardo DiCaprio, for crying out loud. I'm like, this champ shit's amazing. Anyway, the next day I wake up. And to be fair, it had been a monumental trip, a lot of traveling, a lot of burning the candle at both ends, late nights, early starts, all that stuff. And I was kind of sick, very hungover. And I bailed on everything. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I got
going home.
Dana was on the phone. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck, Mike? He said, we're spending all this money flying you around. I'm like, Dana, I'm sick. He's like, oh, so you weren't just drinking a cocktail led by the pool at the hotel? Because you were fucking seen. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah. It is a whirlwind. So that's what you got to look forward to, Anthony and Jamal. Thank you very much once again. Brian, we'll do 2 questions. Then we'll get out of here because Anthony and myself, I got to get to a meeting. So, yeah. What we got, Bri?
All right. So, first question here is from, oh, man, I'm not going to pronounce this guy's name. He says it, though.
Hold on. Pause it.
What the fuck is this?
It looks like a chubby Jorge Masvidal with a wig on. I'm back up to the start.
Hello, BYM crew. My name is Milutin. I'm from Serbia. And my question for you, for these 3 experienced fighters here, is why don't more fighters try some spinny, uncommon moves in their fights? Like, let's try it and maybe it works this time. So, yeah, that was my question. Enjoying the show. Bye-bye.
Well, listen, thank you very much for your question. I really appreciate this. But, in future, speak up a little bit because I have headphones on. I turn volume on 100%. Still cannot hear you. Audio listeners are like freaking out right now. What was the question? Why don't you throw more spinning stuff?
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous. And some people suck at it.
Like I criticized Yair Rodriguez back in the day when he fought, what's he called? Bruce Leroy. What's his name?
Andre Feely?
No, not Andre Feely. Bruce Leroy. What's it called? Alex
Caceres.
They had their fight. It was a main event on Fox. And there was a lot of spinning around from both men because they've both got elaborate styles. And obviously, Yair Rodriguez is fighting for the interim belt. Incredible fighter. But that one fight, and I was doing the post-fight analysis, I was saying, it's all well and good throwing ridiculous amounts of spinning stuff all the time, which is great, but you can't use them too much. You can't make that a fundamental part of your game. You have to have fundamentals. You got to have jabs, 1-2s, and those kind of moves. They're sacrifice moves because if you spin and you miss, you're giving up your back. Look at Chris Weidman against Luke Rockhold. Perfect example. Anytime you present your back, it's dangerous. They're great to use. The element of surprise is always good, but you can't be spinning around like bloody Sonic the Hedgehog or the Tasmanian Devil.
No, I totally agree. It's just it doesn't fit some guys' styles. It's just I'm not a big spinner because it doesn't fit my style and the way that I move, and it doesn't fit real well into the diversity of strikes that I throw. It just doesn't fit my game. It doesn't fit your game. And this podcast doesn't fit me anymore. Guys, I got to go. We said 2 questions. Can't do 2 questions. Literally got a very, 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 very important meeting that I'm going to be late for. I haven't eaten a goddamn thing all day. Mike, get out of here. You got shit to do. Fasting, bro. I've got to go. I'm late. You got to go.
in the comments, oh, Bisping's gonna go. He's always distracted.
Guys, I asked to stay late. I was like, listen, we can do 3-hour podcast. We'll get it done. The believers deserve it. But Mike said, no, fuck them.
We do. I did say that, and I will say this because they're always like, "Oh, he's always looking at the computer or whatever." I'm gonna pull back the curtain, as Louis J. Gomez used to say. Right, either side of me, I have 2 monitors. In front of me, I have a proper camera. It's not a webcam. It's not on top of the monitor. So when I'm looking at Anthony now, I'm looking at you. Or sometimes it's on that monitor. I'm looking at you, but it looks like I'm looking away. Because if I stare now it looks like I'm looking, but I can't see you. Do you know when I do that?
And that's what I'm doing too, because I have this huge monitor, and the camera is above it. Like it's not a webcam, it's just a camera that sits on that, like I have lifted up behind it. Yeah. So like when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you, but then when I'm looking at the camera, so it's like, and then I'm looking at the other side of the computer. It's just hard, Mike. Podcasting is fucking hard.
Oh, life is so difficult. It's hard sitting here. Guys, the believers, we love you loads. We'll be back on Monday with another great show. Thank you, Anthony Smith. Thank you to Jamahal Hill, of course, Byron and Harrington in the background. Enjoy your weekends, guys.
Yeah.